I'm coming to you from downtown Los Angeles at the headquarters of the offices of Argyle House of Apparel at the famous Newmart building, right here in the heart of the garment and fashion district in LA. Across from me, you'll see the Cooper building, and to the south of us is the California Market Center, and also there's the Geary building over to the east. And so all of these buildings at one time were factories and manufacturing. Today, a lot of these buildings have fashion showrooms, wholesalers, a lot of activity going on in this neighborhood. But let me tell you why LA is so important when it comes to apparel and fashion and how it all began. Now, it's one thing to make your garments in the USA. I'm a strong proponent of American made. I really would love to see more manufacturing of apparel in the United States. So it's really, really important. But being made in LA is a whole nother level. And let me explain why that is. First of all, the ecosystem that we have in Southern California, specifically in the downtown Los Angeles area, is unmatched as compared to any other city in the country. Meaning, within a 4-mile radius of where I sit right now, there are thousands and thousands of workers, garment industry, factory workers, factories themselves, textile mills, everything from notions to fabric to buttons and zippers, anything you can possibly imagine, garment labels, the whole entire industry is right here. If a machine shuts down and breaks down, there's 20 repair guys we can call all within walking distance that'll come right here and fix a machine. So as I said, the ecosystem is strong, and it was a lot stronger. It's still strong today, but it was a whole different era. Today, according to CIT and the California Fashion Association, the latest figures that they had put out is that the fashion and the garment industry in Southern California represents $17 billion a year worth of economic activity. Let me repeat that. $17 billion a year just for the city of Los Angeles worth of economic activity in this industry. That's bigger than the global movie and music industry combined. So it's a huge economic engine for the city of Los Angeles and for the rest of the country as well. So when you think about how this all came to be and how $17 billion worth of economic activity, roughly 200,000 employees representing roughly about $6 billion worth of payroll, it's a significant industry. If it was one big company, it would probably be one of the biggest companies in the world, but it's divided amongst thousands and thousands of companies. At the height of manufacturing in Southern California, we had roughly 9,000 apparel factories in California, 9,000. Now we're down to about roughly 2,000, which is still a respectable number. A lot lower than it used to be, but still respectable. There is nowhere else in the country where you have a concentration of 2,000 garment factories, apparel factories, fashion houses, designers, anywhere in the country. It's all right here in Los Angeles. And so why is that? Well, there's a lot of different reasons as to how and why fashion and apparel took off in Southern California. And there's a obviously also Northern California has its relationship with apparel too. In the 1840s, of course, you had Levi Strauss supplying denim to the gold miners of the area of that time. And believe it or not, denim is the official fabric of the state of California. Yes, it's true. California has its own official fabric, which is pretty cool, and it's denim. So thanks to Levi's and thanks to the gold miners of the 1840s, 1849, Levi still has a big footprint in the San Francisco area. But here in Southern California, the industry took off when the early movie makers moved from New York. They realized that in New York, there was a lot less production days available because of the weather. And they realized Jack Warner of the Warner Brothers, MGM, they started to move out west. And when they came out west, they said, well, we need costumes. We need, FedEx didn't exist in those days. You couldn't just FedEx a costume from New York. New York had a huge garment industry in and of itself, a very respectable one, which also serviced the entertainment industry and others. But in Southern California, the garment industry and the fashion business took off when the movie makers came and they realized we need to set up our own little sewing shops inside our studios to accommodate the costumes for the movie sets. So a small industry was born. In every one of the studios, as they expanded, their sewing rooms expanded. It began with just a couple of sewers to hundreds of sewers to even thousands. Over time, and well into the 1930s and 40s, all the studios had huge costume departments, or they would call wardrobe departments. And in these wardrobe departments, they would do nothing but cut and sew costumes and apparel for all the different movies. With that came the textile suppliers, other vendors, and other suppliers came to service the industry. And as time went on, and well into the 70s and 80s, as the manufacturing of apparel really took a stronghold in Southern California, again, largely as a result of the movie makers and the movie industry, it spawned off a whole new industry for everything else. So a lot of major brands, Guess, The Gap, others have had and do still have to some degree today a footprint in Southern California and headquarters in Southern California and Los Angeles area. So with the birth of the movie industry in Los Angeles came an ancillary industry to support the movie makers, which was garment manufacturing. And over time, we have had thousands and thousands of factories come and go, but the epicenter is right here in Southern California. The ecosystem is still here, alive and well, with a lot of great companies still manufacturing apparel in Los Angeles, and we see nothing but great things happening. Times get tough, times always get tough, but it's happened. It's very cyclical. This industry is solid in this area, and we will survive tough times, and we will go through good times as well, like any other industry, but this is where it all happens. Over time, Southern California and Los Angeles in particular has seen a lot of different changes in the industry, from going from 9,000 factories at the height of the 80s and 90s down to the 2,000 factories today. The city has seen all the trends, from the Von Dutch look of the late 90s to the Z Cavaricci pants of the 80s and even before. So this is really where the concentration of talent is, as far as designers, the manufacturers, the sewers, textile mills and people, all working together to make this vibrant economy work. And I'm excited to be a very, very tiny portion of this. And again, going back to the early 1900s, this industry, I'm just beyond blown away that I'm even in this industry. It is really fun. It's really cool. I hope you get a lot of information out of this video. And so let's get started with it all.